welcome you to my live call. And it's with a question, is coronavirus slowing you down? Do not know me. I've been involved in network marketing for over 40 years. I share a lot what I've learned in my journey on these live calls. I started in this business totally broke, sold a junk truck, put $200 into my business, and I've been full-time in network marketing for 27 years, which simply means I've been able to enjoy my life and travel and do all the things people love to do. So yes, it's possible. Crazy stuff, right? So they have the military out in Manila. So you got 20 million people in there. Got a message from a friend over there. Hey, Angela Brooks, what's going on, girl? Nice to see you. I have to catch up with you sometime. It's been a while since we talked. And Carlos Santana, keep playing your guitar, man. But anyway, so they have the military out. But she said there, I don't know, 150 people were infected and 20 deaths. Anyway, thing is, it's global, right? I talked to another leader in Malaysia, and they have it bad. Another leader I spoke to in South Korea, same thing in her town. You know, there was like 4,000 infected in her city, so that's pretty serious. So what does all this mean? You know, it's not the end of the world, okay? It simply means that people have to pay attention, and we want our leaders, we want everyone here to be safe, and not assume just because we take these great natural products that we are immune to sickness and disease. So that's not something we want to do. We don't want to be foolish in that regard, and then encourage other people to do the same. Because let's face it, we are mortal. What I think, health products do, the value of, alternative health products and treating our health versus relying on big pharma for drugs, is that we can take care of our health and have optimal health. Thing is, and if you do get sick, when you're down, you're not down for long. You're down for days when others are down for weeks. There's a big difference. Isn't there? So it's definitely worth it. So here's the thing, some realities. Everyone's got it down to, I live in this town, and I got really annoyed because in the county where I live in Tennessee, we haven't had any coronavirus outbreaks. So I watch it, and then finally I get the news, out of Knoxville. Oh yeah, my county's got a coronavirus, someone who has coronavirus. But our local officials don't say nothing about it because they don't want to affect the tourist industry. Totally irresponsible leadership. I hope they get booted out of office when their time comes. But they don't tell anybody. But it was reported from another city. So, anyway, it's just simply, and here's the thing. And the news does a video where they really want to just play it down. They want to play it down. They said, we want everyone to know they're welcome here. They're welcome here. We are open for business. Just wash your hands. Why do they think it's just only washing our hands? And if you do that, you're not going to get coronavirus. I mean, we have got so much bad information out there with all these people. I mean, the fact is, it is airborne. Now, some people say it's not, but it is. It is airborne. People that have flown on a plane where other people were infected and they got infected. Matter of fact, if you remember when they had that cruise ship in Japan, and then they brought back the Americans, they put the ones who were infected with the ones who were not infected on the same plane, breathing the same air. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Matter of fact, I was listening to one immunologist who was talking about a study that was just done in Germany by some doctors on some people that were exposed by someone who had coronavirus. Well, guess what? After they tested them, just shortly after that, they found out the virus was in their mouth, it was in their throat. So anyway, they're trying to understand more about this. Matter of fact, CDC trying to incognito flying commercial to Australia, trying to figure out why is it the virus keeps spreading in warm climates, and is it airborne? You're going to hear all kinds of stuff. Here's the thing about it. Here's what I think and I'll pass on some wisdom and just some things that I've learned and what I've come to appreciate. And I've listened to people I think know a lot about this, but you're just going to have to do the best thing that you can to encourage your leaders and yourself to stay alert to it, be wise to it. In other words, if you're going to go into a grocery store and you're in an infected area, I don't know that, if I had to get something, I don't think I would go to the cashier. I think I would do self-checkout. In other words, I want to keep my distance from talking to anybody, in the fear of getting that virus. But there's other things that we can do. For example, right now, we just have to understand that we haven't had anything like this in most of the countries. Like, look at Italy. They've never experienced anything like that since World War II. Since World War II. And anyway, not a pleasant sight because they didn't contain it in time. China, on the other hand, did a very good job in containing it. So did Taiwan. And so now about a significant part of China has gone back to work. I know because I talked to professional women over there who have companies, they have employees and all that. But they nipped it in the bud by containing it. Italy didn't do that. And so far, our country hasn't done a very good job because they still have domestic air travel and interstate travel. So this thing will spread. That's for sure. Until these people wisen up and the president wisen, we'll see. We'll see in a few days what he's got to say. I'm really amazed he hasn't taken this action yet. So the thing about it is, again, things that we can do to keep ourselves safe. If you can't find hand sanitizer, by the way, you can just do what we did, because we couldn't find it either. And that is just you can get 90% rubbing alcohol if you can find it. If not, if 70 is good as you can get, that's as good as you can get. But use that along with maybe vitamin E oil or aloe vera. You could also put some essential oils in there. I think Angela Brooks she's my old essential oil friend. Anyway, but you can put some essential oils in there that are good. But even if you don't have essential oils, using the rubbing alcohol, 70% or higher, 90's better, of course, along with vitamin E, along with aloe vera juice, maybe a little bit, just so it gels, because it's pretty hard on the hands if you don't. And just make your own. Just make your own. The other thing too is, if you got a face mask, don't be ashamed to use it. don't feel funny just because, everyone else is not using one. Hey, I got to be cool, man. I got to be politically correct. I don't want to use one. No, if it really bothers you when you go into a store, let me tell you something. Why do you think doctors wear face masks? Right? They've been doing that for as long as I can remember. So obviously they're there for prevention. So don't be afraid. And here's a tip too. Take some colloidal silver. If you have colloidal silver, spray it on the face mask. It's even more effective then. It's a much more effective face mask if you do. And don't be afraid to wear it. I mean, in Asia, I've been going to Asia for, 17 years, flying back and forth. And I couldn't tell you how many times that when I would go through Asia, I'd see people at different times, people with face masks. Now, that was sort of new for me because I never saw that in America. And I always asked my wife, Michelle, why is that? She said, well, that means they probably have a cold and they don't want to give it to anybody. Well, I thought, well, that's incredibly considerate, isn't it? I don't know how many people in the United States would do that, but that's considerate. On the other hand, when you have something like this, and if you remember China, everybody was wearing face masks over there if they had to go out because they wanted to prevent themselves from getting infected. If it wasn't an airborne disease, why would they be, wearing it? So the thing is, it's okay to have a face mask. Here's the other thing. If you become infected, I'm not giving you medical advice. I'm just telling you what I would do. If I became infected, then there's certain things that you can do. And that is, I mentioned colloidal silver. You can use that in an inhaler. And I mean like heavy doses of it in an inhaler. You could do that. So there's just different things there's Arthur. Hello, Arthur. Nice to see you again. He just came back. He was at his friend's house. But there's things like that you can do that's very good for the lungs that helps with, and peroxide. I was trying to remember that. Peroxide. 3% in the water along with colloidal silver, maybe some iodine, and that's it. And then big time, do that. The other thing is, if you ever got brought to a hospital, have them hit you with 100,000 units of vitamin C. I mean, that's what I would do. I mean, I'm just saying what I would do. So vitamin C is another. Make sure you've got a good grade vitamin C. I know I ordered some, got some brought in. I had it shipped here. A very good grade. So high absorption vitamin C, that is. So just do that. Make sure that you have that available. The other thing is, because you go through, we've never had anything like this before, right? In our lifetime. So there's going to be disruptions. So you might want to have some food on hand. Make sure you're storing food. If you got somebody in the house that maybe is on a certain type of medicine they have to have, you might want to get the doctor to write a few prescriptions so that you have it stored in a fridge for that person that's in your house. That's something you need to think about. So food, medicine, water. I got a well where I live, but make sure you have good drinking water. Maybe you got a good filter on your faucet. That's great if you do. Those are some things that you can do and encourage your leaders to do. I'm just sort of alarmed at the amount of people out there that they don't have any kind of supplies stored in their home at all. They're just always assuming the stores are going to be open. You don't know that. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just saying you don't know that. And so I would encourage you, and here's the thing. And if you wait until, there's a lot of infection out there, then your chances of exposure is greater if you go to the store. Why not get it now and not have to go? And then just sit it out for a period of time. Now, if you're sitting it out for a period of time, then how can you be effective in the business? Well, again, I mentioned this recently on a live, and I'll say it again. Make sure that you're using the tools. You can, if you've never used Zoom, then download Zoom and start using it. Get your leaders to do that. It's time to step up your game and get more tech savvy. And it's not that hard. You just download it, and you got a link. You can message out the link when you're going to do your Zoom call, and then that's it. And then everybody meets, and you can do that with your leaders. So you don't have to physically get together. It's a very smart thing to do. And if your leaders are spread out throughout the world, it's really a great tool. I love using it. I also like using it for three-way calls. So if you have people that are building, and there's no reason why you should stop building. Don't get so negative about this thing, okay? I'm going to tell you, I've got a friend from Wuhan, where this virus originated from. Her parents, they don't have this virus, never got it. She's got other relatives there, never got it. You would think everybody in Wuhan would have got it, right? No, not at all. So it's all about not exposing yourself, okay? And that's what we want people to understand. You don't have to get it. You can work, you can do this and work your business, have a healthy life until this storm blows past you. And it will go away eventually. It will go away. It's just going to take some time. So the thing about it is, in the meantime, you can work with your leaders, do three-way calls on phone or three-way Zoom calls. I love doing three-way Zoom calls because you get to visually chat. It's pretty cool. It's like being together and you're not, but you're talking, and you got the eye contact. I find it a very effective tool. So then also you got, decide what videos, hopefully you got a video that you prospect with, send that video out. Learn how to use those tools and then follow up with that person. No doubt your company's provided you a page for the website. So you simply send out the link and, who are you? Anyway, that's a friend staying at our house. Anyway, send out the link and let them sign up. The shipping is still going on. I would imagine that a lot of the infrastructure in the United States is going to continue. China, there was some disruption for a period of weeks. Now they're shipping, and it's like it's starting to go back to normal there. But as long as we have it, let's take advantage of it. And if there's some things that you need, and I forgot elderberry. I found some elderberry today. Oh my gosh. I went to Amazon and ordered some, but it's like, it'll be here in 2 weeks from now. Okay. I thought, well, I hope there's shipping 2 weeks from now. But I had to go to another town, and I finally went to a CVS, a drugstore, found some elderberry. Great, awesome. Anyway, hope I don't need it. But I'm just saying there's things that you can do, and just do that. And then in the meantime, just keep yourself safe, keep your leaders safe. And if you're used to doing meetings where you're physically doing meeting venues, I would not encourage that now at all. I would encourage learning how to use Zoom to do your meetings, your prospecting meetings, things like that, where you get your leaders together and maybe your prospects together, and then you can still explain things live right over a video. So here's the thing, we got some disruption, but it's what we do with it. Now, let's just say that things get a little worse than what we want, and let's just say that there is some disruption in shipping. Just understand it's not going to last forever. Yes, your checks may tank. My income, mine, tank. It may, okay? It's no big deal. It's going to be like the stock market. It's going to come back. Everybody's freaking out, or it's, only the ones who are invested, right? Over the stock market. Oh my God, it's going to crash. It's going to crash. It's going to crash. So what? When in the history since the stock market was created, when in its history have we not have, constrictions and then it bounces back. And then here we go again, and it bounces back. It always comes back. It's the ones that get out, and the ones, they're the ones that usually lose, right? The ones that just say, I'm not going to look at these numbers. And then, when it finally comes back, they look and their money's doubled. So people respond to fear. The majority do. So don't do that in your business, okay? Don't be like that, okay? Main thing is take care of yourself. You know, just be very smart if you go out. And like I said, if you can't, you don't have it. If you can't buy hand sanitizer, then just make your own. And if you just get on this call right now, do the replay and you'll see what I said about that, how to make your own. That's what we did. And we make our own here. And so just do that. And again, if you're in an infected area, avoid cashiers. I would just go through self-checkout. That way you don't have to talk to anybody. Wear a mask if you got one, that's fine. If that makes you feel more comfortable. Again, if it's, you know, it's hard to say. You know, they aren't going to know until they do the testings, really, how many really have this, right? Okay? So just be smart, that's all. And then try to do most of, you know, try to store some food, supplies in your home, stay home, and then do the business. That's what I love about this. I mean, Google and other social platforms have tried to, you know, restrict any advertising that says home business, home-based business. It's like those are evil words, those 3 words, home-based business. Evil words. You know, we don't want those home-based businesses. But look at it right now. We're absolutely vindicated because we know this is the safest way to work, because you can work from home and not have to worry about being infected around people that you have to work with, right? So it makes sense. So try to do, you know, what you do from your home using the tools. That's what I've been doing. You know, and really I've been doing this for, gosh, I mean, for a long time. I'm talking about in the United States. When I go to Asia, yeah, sure, we do a lot of meetings, that's for sure. But what I'm saying, but in the United States, I can tell you that when I started 21 years ago in my last company, that I did it right from my home. Back then, I didn't own a computer. We had a hotline for the product, and we had a website, but not much on it. Mostly it was the hotline, and that was it. And so I used that tool. I'd give someone the hotline. I'd follow up. If they hadn't listened to it, I'd 3-way them right into that hotline. We listened to it together, and then that was it. I put them in as a customer or as a business partner, and that was how I did it. In 90 days, I had 800 people in my business, and I never left the driveway. I never did a single meeting. And that was before social media. That's just when the internet was really, you know, getting going. But I did that, just working a list, and I had a phone. That's all I had. 800 people in 90 days. So I'm just saying, you know, that's the way, that has been my methodology from the very beginning, is working from home, building from home. I did conference calling back then. We did a lot of conference calling back then. So today you can do Facebook Lives, you can do Zoom calls, and sometimes I know in the past, like when I have done that in India, in the country of India, conference calling is the preferred way for that country. So, you know, when in Rome, do as the Romans, right? But you can do it from home. You can do it from home. So that's what I want to encourage all you guys. Be safe, man. Don't get depressed if there is in the future, in the United States or in the country that you're in, if there's shipping disruptions, volume, well, because if there is, then people can't get products. They're not buying products. Guess what? Your checks will tank. It's not the end of the world. You still have a downline. They're not going anywhere, okay? You still have a company. It's not going anywhere. So when this thing passes and shipping's restored, everything's restored, guess what? It's like flipping a light switch. You're back in business. So it's not the end of the world. So in the meantime, take advantage of this time while you have resources, when you have resources to work with, and just prepare yourself for more of this. Because, you know, until they get smart about, you know, domestic air flight, interstate traveling, this thing will spread everywhere. There's no question about it. I mean, just do the math. Ask yourself what's going to stop it. There's only 2 things that can stop it. And these are the only 2 things. And that is a vaccine, which I heard from one immunologist, they're 12 to 18 months away from being away from one that works. And when it comes, it'll go to the elderly. 2, containment. And that's what worked for China. That's what worked for Taiwan. Italy didn't go down that path. So now you see Italy as it is. And so until the U.S. gets serious about it, that's what it's going to be, the same thing. It'll spread. So just take care of yourselves, okay? That's what our family's doing. So make sure you get some supplies in your home. I'm giving you the straight talk. I could blow sunshine in your face, and you could listen to all these CDC, all these other people, and you're not gonna get the right information. I'm just, anyway, because if they were taking this seriously, we wouldn't have domestic air travel or interstate travel by cars where people, where I live, we get 12 million visitors a year. How do you think I feel? 12 million, oh yeah, from all the coronavirus areas. Okay, great, man. Well, shoot, the raccoons are gonna have it here soon. I don't know. So, I'm joking. Just take care of yourselves, okay? And just understand, until the government gets serious about it, it's gonna spread. So it's up to you. Containment is the best. That's the best thing. And then while you're contained and you got your resources, your supplies, do your business from home. Work from home. Use the tools. And I'm growing. I'm working with several teams, doing great calls. We're loving it. We're growing and all that. So it's not like I'm depressed. I'm freaked out. I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy about the fact that a lot of people in the United States, as well as the countries that you're in, are going to die. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to die from this, okay? I'm not happy about that. That bothers me a lot. And a lot of this could be prevented if people practice containment and if our government did it. But so far, they don't have the balls for it. So maybe they'll come around to that. I hope they will in this country, in our country. Because if they did, they could be back up on their feet in a short period of time, and they could be beyond this. But we'll see where it goes. But I want you to be safe. And so keep those things in mind. It's not, just keep yourself safe, your family safe, and your leaders safe. And then reach out to me if you want any advice on anything. And then, yeah, that's right. Elenia says prevention is the key. Containment is the key. That is the key. It really is. So stay safe, okay? I love all you guys, and I'll give you a shout out tomorrow. I love all you. Stay safe, okay? Talk to you soon.